Alright, so let me get this straight. The Godfather Part 2 won Best Picture. Alright, I can deal with that. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King won Best Picture. Alright, I can deal with that. The Dark Knight did not win Best Picture. I'm confused. I'm thinking somebody paid them off. Made by the same folks, but a little bit longer in length. This is The Godfather Part 2. Released for one night only, and as you may have guessed by the title, I saw it. My experience watching this film for the very first time was a little bit different than it was when I saw the first Godfather. I returned The Godfather, went back into Blockbuster, got Part 2, brought it home, and I was bored. I was bored. There was no action, well, hardly any action at all, and I played it in the wrong order. No joke. Here's what happened. So, I had the DVD disc, and there was, part 1, part 2, because, you have to switch. It's like an intermission thing. But the funny thing was, and I'm not sure if this was just my fault or whether they didn't say part 1, part 2, but I ended up playing the second part first, without really knowing it. Part of me knew that it was the wrong part, but anyways, I played it through. Then I watched part 1, and, well, I confused myself to really no end. And for a majority of you out there watching this film the first time around will be very confusing, most likely. Watching it tonight, I had a hard time kind of following who everyone was. There are a lot of characters in this movie, and whenever they're referencing them like by name, it's kind of like, who the heck are you talking about, man? And there are a total of 16 deaths in this film. I looked that up on IMDb, which, by the way, if you want to know just random facts about this film, go on to IMDb. There's some really awesome facts about this movie. So yeah, 16 deaths, and if you're not following the storyline and you're not understanding the character motivations, it's often difficult to know why certain people are being killed off. And while this film is 3 hours and 20 minutes, it was actually paced very well. We had an intermission, much like Titanic, though it wasn't nearly as long, about half as long, I might add. I didn't buy anything, I just went to take a piss. Didn't really need to know that, did you? Sorry. It flashes back and forth. You've got the story of how Vito Corleone was raised up, and then we show how Michael is doing now that his father is dead, and how he's running the family business and all that jargon. And really the only time that it's dull, for me at least, was the opening, maybe half an hour. This film is very dialogue heavy just in general, but in the very beginning it was kind of hard to adjust to it, even though the first film kind of set the stage for the tone. But still, just how the pacing, and I've been watching a lot of action films lately, so when I'm sitting down for a 3.5-hour film and there's a lot of dialogue, instead of cars blowing up, people being shot in the face, it takes a minute to adjust. This is only the second time that I have seen the film, so I've seen The Godfather 3 times, Godfather Part 2 twice. And, surprisingly, I actually liked it a little bit more than the first one. I have no idea why. More compelling, I don't know. I'm gonna give The Godfather Part 2 4 out of 5 stars. For those of you who have not seen this film, you're gonna want to watch the first one, then the second one, obviously. For those of you who are interested in learning more about this film and just about the filmmaker in general, Francis Ford Coppola, go on to youtube.com. Well, actually, you're already here, so go to the search box, type in Inside of the Actor Studio Francis Ford Coppola, and watch that video. I think you'll find it very interesting. Now, oddly enough, they're not going to be showing Part 3 in theaters, which at first I was confused, but then I realized that they're only showing Academy Award-winning films, and by that I mean like Best Picture winners. So if for some reason you'd like me to review Part 3, well, you know what to do. If you don't though, no hard feelings.